from Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. CSN Houston brings you Houston Astros baseball. Today is the finale and deciding game of this three-game series. The Astros are taking on the first-place Oakland A's. Good afternoon, everybody. Bill Brown, along with Alan Ashby and Julia Morales, joins us in just a few minutes. And the Astros were so close to winning last night. They took a 4-1 lead to the ninth. Oakland came up with 6 runs on 6 hits, and it was really something to watch for fans of clutch hitting last night.
One team dominated for 26 outs, and then the other dominated for 1, but the Oakland A's were the latter, and they picked up the big win. That was a great ninth inning from the A's perspective.
Nonetheless, the Astros have had good starts from both of their starters in the first 2 games of this series. Brett Oberholzer 2 nights ago, and last night Scott Feldman.
Took the A's batters right out of their game plan. They love to take pitches, draw a lot of walks, but strikes will change that around, and Brett Oberholzer got it going with all the strike pitches, changing speeds well, got his ground balls. Obi was outstanding at picking up a win to start this series and giving the Astros actually a chance to win the series over the first 2 games. Scott Feldman last night, same approach, throwing strikes, and wasn't really all that worried early in the ballgame about where he delivered those strikes. Just got it in there, forced the A's to swing the bats, and he shut them down for 7 innings. So Scott Feldman last night giving the chance with a little nice defense, a chance to win.
The A's have the best offensive numbers in the major leagues, so now it falls on Dallas Keuchel to try to fall in line with what those two have already done in this series.
And that's what Dallas Keuchel does extremely well, is throw strikes. Really found himself again that last start after having the sore wrist. A couple, 2 or 3 outings where it wasn't as sharp as we've grown accustomed to seeing Dallas Keuchel. But over the last 4 home starts, 2-2, 1.20 ERA. He's been absolutely fantastic. He works it so well in this ballpark, doesn't worry about the short walls with all the ground balls he creates. Dallas Keuchel in that last start against the Marlins, a loss, but 7 innings did not allow an earned run. In fact, the Marlins didn't get on the board until that 7th inning. A couple of unearned runs against him. Didn't strike out many, just a couple of strikeouts along the way, but Dallas doesn't worry about that. Getting the ground balls is his big key.
Coming up, center mass. It's been a wild and crazy month for Kike Hernandez. He finds himself in a new and unusual position at the plate and in the field. How's the Astros' newest young star handling the spotlight? Julia has the answer when we return.
The rubber game between the A's and the Astros. Astros trying to take the series from the A's, something the players really want to do here at home, especially Kike Hernandez talking about that. And we've seen Kike Hernandez do a lot of different things for the club lately. Bo Porter very high on Mr. Super Utility, as he calls him, defensively and then offensively. We've seen him go through ups and downs as he's adjusting to the big leagues, just being called up recently, but lately more of an upswing. Last night, a very good night for Kike, who went 2 for 3 with an RBI triple and then an RBI double. You're seeing the triple right now. A great night for him. That's his first ever multi-RBI game and his first multi-extra base hit game. He had some success off Jeff Samardzija, too. He said he had his number recently, but turned it around against him last night. Defensively, though, you see here, backing up LJ Hoes. That was a Josh Reddick double. But defensively coming along, especially with the throwing and then with just all-around defensive play for him. Bo Porter likes him out in center field as he's filling in for some guys who are hurt. But we look at Kike's last 10. I talk about how he's being on the upswing right now. The average 306, really coming around on base percentage 342. Kike's just feeling much more comfortable here lately. And yesterday he was in the 9-hole. Today, Bo Porter moving him up into the 2-hole, hoping to use that offense up there as well. And I talked about how he wants this series win. Kike Hernandez is a guy that really wants to win, and he's a guy that's trying not to do too much at the plate. Both very good things for the Houston Astros. Don't go anywhere. Coming up, Kike and the Astros have been on a wild ride. Some high highs and then some low lows last night. Can Dallas Keuchel and Jose Altuve calm things down and lead the Astros to a series win over the A's? Brownie and Ash are next.
Series here at Minute Maid Park this season, and the A's will be making one more trip in late August to this city. The Astros have another visit to make to Oakland as well. Oakland leads the season series 8-4, and the A's riding high with their 66-40 record. They are in front by 2.5 games in the AL West. Here's their starting lineup for Bob Melvin. Billy Burns gets his first major league start. He's in center field with Jed Lowry, the shortstop. Yoenis Cespedes batting third, playing left field. The DH batting fourth is Josh Donaldson. It's catcher Derek Norris, first baseman Brandon Moss, third baseman Alberto Callaspo, right fielder Josh Reddick, second baseman Nick Punto.
Dallas Keuchel on the mound for the Astros this afternoon, 26 years of age. He's 9-7 with a 3.11 ERA. He's started 4 times lifetime against these Oakland A's. He's 0-2, and he's been roughed up, an ERA of 6.23.
Billy Burns takes strike one. Dallas Keuchel. He's been very good at throwing strike one. Last 3 starts, he's thrown 72% first pitch strikes. And not chasing there. Burns runs the count to 1 ball, 1 strike. Burns has had 1 at bat in this series. He was hitting .250 at AA Midland when he was called up Monday. With a homer, 23 runs batted in, and 51 steals. In the air to right center field, Kike Hernandez, Robbie Grossman. Grossman with the catch.
Defensively, behind Dallas Keuchel here this afternoon in the outfield left to right. Mark Krause in left. Kike Hernandez in center field and Robbie Grossman in right. On the infield left side, Matt Dominguez and Gregorio Petit gets that second start now since his call up at shortstop. On the right side, hits leader Jose Altuve and John Singleton, and behind the plate, Carlos Corporon.
Former Astro Jed Lowry's the batter. Lowry takes, and there's ball 1 to the switch hitting shortstop with a .241 average, 5 homers, 40 runs batted in. 5 for 16 in his career against Keuchel. Works very quickly. Fly ball again to right center. Kike Hernandez. 2 down. So Keuchel has needed just a few pitches, only 5 so far for the first 2 outs. And the Astros starting pitchers have been pounding the strike zone in this series. They've done a tremendous job. Brett Oberholzer Monday night walked 1 in 6 2/3 innings. Scott Feldman last night walked 3 in 7. And both had quality starts. Now Yoenis Cespedes, the left fielder.
Those 3 walks, though, the anomaly last night for Scott Feldman, because he was in the strike zone and putting the heat on these A's hitters all night long.
Did a great job. Carlos Corporon sets up. Pitch is a little bit low. Ball 1 to Cespedes, a .258 hitter with 17 homers, 67 runs batted in. He's been on an RBI binge with 11 in the last 10 days. Drove in a big 9th inning run last night with a single to right field in the 6-run 9th. And his hit was the one that tied it. His 3rd hit of the game. He had a couple of doubles earlier and a stolen base for Cespedes. He's hit .387 against Houston pitching. In the air to right center, Kike Hernandez, long run back to the warning track, and a very fine catch. There's some outfield play in this inning as Kike makes 2 plays. The other one comes from Robbie Grossman. Excellent running play there for a scoreless first. Athletics nothing. Astros coming up with this starting lineup for the Astros. It's brought to you by Jack in the Box. Bo Porter had to make a change. Here's what he wound up doing. Jose Altuve, second base. Enrique Kike Hernandez, center field. DH Jason Castro. Left fielder Mark Krause. First baseman John Singleton. Third baseman Matt Dominguez. Catcher Carlos Corporon. Right fielder Robbie Grossman. Shortstop Gregorio Petit. The original lineup had Chris Carter batting third. He is sick today and he was scratched.
31-year-old right-hander Jason Hamill on the hill. He was part of that deal with the Cubs. 8-8 on the season, 3.41 the ERA. Most of those numbers coming from his work with the Cubs. 3 starts with the A's. Not real delightful for the folks in Oakland. 7.11 the ERA while going 0-3.
Hamill overall this season has won 8 and lost 8. Got off to a terrific start with the Cubs. 4-1 in April with a 2.08 ERA. Facing a sizzling Altuve, leading the league in batting average at .343. Way upstairs, ball 1. Altuve's on an 11-game hitting streak. And during that stretch, he's hit .408, going 20 for 49 in the last 11 games. 2 for 7 in this series with a homer. Leads the majors in hits with 150. In the air, and the center fielder comes over. Burns into right center. 1 down for Hamill.
Defensively for these Oakland A's. In left field, Yoenis Cespedes, Billy Burns making that first career start in center field. You just saw him on the catch. Josh Reddick in right. On the infield left side, Alberto Callaspo and Jed Lowry. On the right, it's Nick Punto and Brandon Moss behind the plate. Once again, Derek Norris.
Kike Hernandez, as Julia pointed out, had quite a game last night with an RBI triple in the 5th, an RBI double in the 7th, going 2 for 3. He looks at it. It's strike 1 from Hamill to Hernandez. So the day begins with Kike sporting some pretty good offensive numbers. 289, 1 homer, 8 runs batted in, a .357 on base percentage. The breaking ball stays high, and it's a 1 ball 1 strike count for Hamill, who's 31 years old. He's from Greenville, South Carolina. Drafted by Tampa Bay in the 10th round in 2002. Gets a strike call there. It's a 1-2 count. Corey Blazer is the home plate umpire today. Hamill signed as a free agent over the winter with the Cubs after going 7-8 with Baltimore last year. That's a foul ball back, 1-2. And as the 2 starting pitchers came in that July 5th trade from the Cubs to the A's, Jeff Samardzija, of course, having a tremendous year. Hamill was having a good year, but things have turned south on him. He is 57 and 67 in his career with a 4.65 ERA. That's out into shallow center field and looping in for a hit for Kike Hernandez. Takes a big turn. Burns comes up with it. And the Astros have something working for Jason Castro now.
Just thumb it. Let it drop in center field. Nice job by Kike. Get tied up a little bit, but fight it off. Some of the really good hitters through the years have been guys that were willing to get jammed.
Hamill has pitched well against the Astros, 2-1 with a 1.57 ERA. He'll be out of the stretch working to Castro. 226 for Jason, 10 homers, 40 runs batted in. Hit a home run Monday night into the bullpen in right center. Jason looks at ball 1. DHing today with Carlos Corcoran doing the catching. In the original lineup, it was Chris Carter batting 3rd, so those adjustments had to be made when Carter was sick this morning, so he had to be scratched from the lineup, and Robbie Grossman was inserted into the lineup in the number 8 spot. Fouled away, and it's a 1 ball 1 strike count, and boy, Bo Porter just keeps dealing with negatives. He already has 3 outfielders on the disabled list, as you well know, and now he loses Carter, who's been his best hitter in the month of July other than Altuve. But Carter has been driving the ball with 8 homers, 19 runs batted in July. And the throw goes over to first. Last night's game, a very difficult one for the Astros, who took a 4-1 lead to the 9th inning. Oakland got 6 runs on 6 hits to win it 7-4. The A's just keep on rolling. They're 3-2 on this road trip. They head for home after this game. Have a day off tomorrow. That's out over shortstop. Lowry back, and he watches it loop in front of Burns again. And here goes Kike Hernandez, first to third on the single by Castro. No hesitation whatsoever. He really has been a guy as a base runner who gets good reads.
Just has good instincts, no doubt about it. Another thumber, in fact, even more severe here for Jason Castro. And last night he got an infield hit on a ground ball on the first base side. So maybe starting to pick up some of the hits that you need to get along the way. The Astros with these two thumbers to center field. A great shot to get on the board. Not seeing a great willingness to want to throw in center field for the youngster Burns.
Yeah. Now Mark Krause has runners at the corners and one out. Breaking ball stays high to Krause, who is batting in the cleanup spot for the 4th time this season. 191, 5 homers, 16 runs batted in. He rammed a home run to the second deck in right field in the Monday night Houston 7-3 win when the Astros went deep 4 times. Fouls it back, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Krause hit a shot in the 6th inning right after Castro had connected. They hit back-to-back homers, and the Astros wound up with a 3-home-run inning in that 7-3 win. But then last night had done some strategic hitting behind the good pitching, had the good lead, but they were shut down in the late innings by the Oakland bullpen last night. Foul back, and it's a 1-ball, 2-strike count. This Oakland pitching staff has the 2nd lowest ERA in the American League at 3.14. For Hamill, his first 12 starts brought a 6-3 record, a 2.53 ERA. His last 8 starts have found him going 2-5 with a 5.02. He's given up 6 homers in the first inning this year.
That has not been the trend in recent years for pitchers coming to Oakland.
Ground ball and a double play ball here. And there's the throw from Punto to Lowry, and not in time, so the Astros get a run as they fail to turn 2, with Krause able to beat it out. 1-0 Houston.
There will not be many double plays turn on ground balls to the left, the second baseman's left side. But in this case, it looked like the A's might have a chance to turn one. Punto got rid of it nice and quick into the bag at second. But Mark Krause wanted that ribby.
And he got that ribby, number 17. John Singleton will follow. 1-0 Houston as Singleton comes up with a 172 average. Second baseman Punto very deep. There is ball 1. Now the A's are rumored to be looking around for a second baseman, although the 2 second basemen they have, Punto and Eric Sogard, play well defensively. Bob Melvin's club would not seem to be needing a whole lot right now. It's been the Diamondbacks and the Mariners, but this club is a special bunch. It's 2-0. Well, they lead the majors in runs scored. They're second in the American League in ERA. Pretty good defensive bunch. And they are just outscoring their opponents by 169 runs this year. That's the top run differential in the major leagues. It's 3-0 to Singleton. Even though their second basemen have not provided a lot of offense, the key question is what would they have to give up to acquire a second sacker if they did go in that direction. We have to assume a green light here for Singleton. He's taking it, and it's 3-1.
If I were the Oakland A's, I would be also concerned about breaking up what seems to be a good chemistry, if there is such a thing for these A's. Bob Melvin just does a great job blending, and these guys find a way to win.
Excellent point. Singleton looks at it, and it's ball 4. Singleton has taken 22 walks. Now 2 men on, and it's Matt Dominguez to try to make this a bigger first inning. In Hamill's career after the All-Star break, he's 13-31 with a 5.36 ERA. his last start at Texas Friday, he gave up 3 earned runs, 4 runs total in 5 2/3 innings in a 4-1 loss. In his 3 starts with the A's, he's walked 7 in 12 2/3 innings. 5 who have walked have come around to score against him. Dominguez takes it, and it's strike 1 to Matt, who has 13 homers, 44 runs batted in, a .231 average, providing his most recent home run Monday night up on the train tracks. That one's in on him. He started the bat and then stopped it for ball 1. 1-1 to Matty D, who is 1 for 7 in this series. He's already 3rd on the Astros all-time list for homers by a third baseman with 38. Morgan Ensberg is here today. One of those third basemen. 1-2.
In fact, I ran into Mo yesterday, and he's looking good. Still a bundle of muscle.
He's doing some coaching out at Lancaster, not too far from where he lives in California. Matty D, one of 3 third basemen, along with Morgan Ensberg, Ken Caminetti, and Doug Rader, to have 12 homers in back-to-back seasons. Is that one foul? Still 1-2 with Carlos Corporan on deck.
I will say Astros hitters have seen a number of pitches to hit here in this first inning. It doesn't look like Jason Hamill is nailing spots with a fastball that is below, certainly blow-away type fastball, and the breaking balls have been hangers.
The Astros are 3-3 at home against Oakland this year. Up the middle and into right center field for a hit, scoring Krause. And the ball is dropped by Burns here. Now it's Singleton coming to the plate, throwing the second down in time as the run scores. And it's 3-0 Astros as Dominguez gets a 2-out, 2-strike hit. And the Astros get 2 runners home on it.
Another softie here in the inning. And you can take those. Those are good in any bank, that's for sure. They're just kind of thumbing it into right center field. Nice job by the Astros hitters to stay on these pitches. And a nice alert sent by Pat Listash. Got to go hard to allow that third base coach that opportunity.
Dominguez into second base. RBI single for Matt. 45 runs batted in. Then an error on Billy Burns. And the Astros lead it 3-0 in the first. So Hamill, who just got a visit from the pitching coach, now has fallen behind quickly and faces Carlos Corporan with a runner at second. Corp at .248 with 5 homers has driven in 17. Curveball comes in, and there's strike 1 to Hamill. Hamill's been leaving some breaking stuff high in this inning. This rotation has really done well for Oakland this year. Actually.
If this is the type of stuff that Jason Hamill has been featuring, you can understand why statistically he has struggled now in 3 starts prior to today, all as a member of the Oakland A's.
Not looking too crisp. That one comes in for strike 2, and it's 0-2.
Might be the best breaking ball he's thrown to this point.
Yeah, he just seemed to stay with it and finish it better. Got the ball down better than the earlier ones he threw. Kurt Young is the pitching coach for the A's. Their starters have a 3.23 ERA, best in the American League. They're 46 and 26 in the rotation. Dominguez with a big lead off second. Pitch is in, and it's a 1-ball 2-strike count to Carlos Corporan. This Oakland team has outscored the Astros in the season series 82-47. So the Astros, even though they lead 3-0, are not probably feeling like this game is over at this point. And especially after last night.
That was a real wake-up call about the 9th inning.
Check swing by Corp, and that's confirmed by Doug Eddings, the third base umpire. 2-2. Chad Qualls came out with a 4-1 lead, struck out Stephen Vogt to open the ninth inning, gave up hits to the next 3, and then a force play. And the big tying single to Cespedes. Tony Sipp came in, gave up a go-ahead single to Moss, and then Josh Donaldson drove in 2 with a double. Up the middle, and that one will find center field. Matt Dominguez comes home. That makes it 4-0 Houston here in the first inning as Carlos Corcoran picks up his 18th run batted in. So this team has rebounded quite well from that deflating loss last night.
There are plenty of times where a pitcher, and rightly so, can go back to the dugout and feel like, boy, they're just hitting nothing but soft stuff and finding holes. And that would be true here in the first inning. The Astros need some of these innings. They haven't had a whole lot.
Corcoran knocks in number 4. Now it's Robbie Grossman. Robbie was added to the lineup when Chris Carter was scratched with the illness. 192 for Robbie, 3 homers, 16 runs batted in. He's had 167 at bats. Taking ball 1 there. Robbie's been getting quite a bit of playing time, mostly in right field. As a left-handed batter, he's hit 197 this year. The injuries to George Springer, Dexter Fowler, Alex Presley. Robbie's been in that lineup more often than not. It's 2-0. The Astros had gone 276 home games without blowing a 3-run lead going to the 9th. Until last night. Last time they took a lead of at least 3 runs to the 9th at home and lost the game was back in 2002 against the Atlanta Braves. This Oakland club, though, quite resilient, has won 6 times when trailing after 8. In for a strike, and it's 3-1. That was a job of clutch hitting. But that's the thing about baseball that you're well aware of, Ash. You've got a game the next day, even though you had a tough loss last night.
Put it behind you. It's not always easy to just simply forget. You have to do the best you can.
Deep drive to right field. This will add to it. That's a 2-run homer for Robbie Grossman. 6-0 Houston on Grossman's 4th. That's 18 runs batted in for Robbie Grossman.
Okay, so you can no longer say everything was soft. Robbie Grossman gets it 3-1 and does what you want to do on that hitter's count. This gets a fastball right down the chute. It's pretty much batting practice time. 3-1, you know it's coming. Unload on it.
That's the 7th first-inning home run Hamill has allowed this year. Now Gregorio Petit as the Astros bat around in the first. Strike 1 to Petit, playing at shortstop. Marlon Gonzalez getting the day off. So that's some thunder off the bat of Grossman. 6 runs in the first, ties the season high for any inning. And how odd is this? Last night the A's got 6 in the 9th. Today the Astros get 6 in the first. Foul ball keeps the count at 0-2 for Gregorio Petit. He is 1 for 2 as an Astro. Worked his way hard through the minor leagues, back, had knee surgery, and had not been in the big leagues since 2009. His call up on Friday brought him up from Oklahoma City, where he was a .297 hitter. Called up to give the Astros some depth at shortstop with Marlon Gonzalez nursing a hamstring strain, and he's been playing with that injury for a while now, playing under control. But Bo Porter said Marlon was sore today. That's a liner into left center field. Petit is 2 for 3 as an Astro, and the hitting continues. That's 6 runs on 6 hits for the Astros so far. They're still churning.
Well, we heard Gregorio Petit talk about how big that first hit was that you talked about as a member of the Astros. Felt like it was even bigger than his first major league hit. He is really glad to be here and wants to contribute. Jason Hamill has got to be feeling the heat now as a member of the staff for the A's.
Herb Young on the phone to the bullpen. Jose Altuve is batting for the second time in the first inning. He hit a fly ball to center. Altuve takes it, and it's ball one to Jose. The Astros came into this game hitting .237 for the season against Oakland in 12 games, averaging 4 runs per game. They have done a job in this first. Pitches a ball, and it's a 2-ball, no strike count. Bullpen action begins for the A's with Ryan Cook throwing.
That's not easy when you come over to a new club. They're expecting to do well, and then you scuffle for it.
Coming over, Moss near the Astros dugout. Will not get a play.
And then you factor in Tommy Malone, who was in the rotation, was pitching well. He's gone back to the minor leagues. You know, all the thought processes are going on if you're Jason Hamill.
Well, there's a lot of talk about Malone, who was a successful back of the rotation starter for Bob Melvin. And he's been at AAA, as you mentioned, since that trade. So he's a viable option. Altuve swings at it. It's 2-2 to Jose.
There's Jose's worst swing of the year.
Yeah.
So
it was.
Remember what it looked like. It won't happen many times.
Well, it looked like a day game after a night game swing in late July, didn't it?
I feature that swing many a time.
He takes strike 3, and the Astros parade 10 to the plate in a 6-run first after the A's had a 6-run ninth. Houston comes storming back, including a Robbie Grossman 2-run homer for a 6-0 lead after 1.
By Scotch Blue Painter's Tape. Scotch Blue, see what you can do. Dallas Keuchel is the feature of our Inside the Lines. Last time out against Miami, he found it again. He was back on the mark and utilizing the breaking pitches and the changeup, and utilized them in great spots. Fastball 53% of the time, but you see the slider, changeup, cutter all mixed in. Big part of the arsenal in that last start. It was down to 49% with the fastball as opposed to previously. Dallas Keuchel can be really sharp, and that's what we saw last time. Hoping to see that for the remainder of the way now for Dallas.
Brett Strom made an adjustment on his slider, his swerve. We have turned it. Josh Donaldson is the batter. He rocks one to left field, and Oakland gets a quick run back. 6-1 as Donaldson crushes his 23rd home run of the year, giving him 76 runs batted in. That's his 5th home run against Astros pitching this season. 15 runs batted in for Donaldson against Houston.
Every pitcher wants to pitch with a lead, but there's a danger. You get what is perceived as a comfy lead, 6-0 early, and you start coming fastball. Hitters start looking all the more for fastballs, and this can be the result. Just get it right there. You're trying to get ahead, and just get beat up with it.
112 home runs for the A's. They're 4th in the American League.
Always felt like you want to pitch as if it was a 1-0 game.
Derek Norris is the batter. Norris takes. There's ball 1 to the catcher with 40 runs batted in, 9 homers and a .299 batting average. He's done well against Keuchel, 5 for 11. Norris has hit .319 since June 6th with a .404 on base percentage. He looks at it, and it's a ball. 2-0. Yeah, Brent Strom in Dallas worked on that slurve on his release point for that pitch. Last time out, that was excellent for him. You pointed out the increased use of the changeup. That too worked very well for Dallas. But now falling behind Norris, 3 balls, no strikes.
What Dallas is, in my opinion, is a guy that has been approaching mastering pitching, not just big time thrower on the hill, but a guy that really pitches his way through a ball game.
It's in for a strike. 3-1 to Norris.
Even on the 3-0, right there at the knees.
The A's have averaged 6.6 runs per game in their last 9. Bounce to third, backed up, and Dominguez from the backed up position makes the throw. A good scoop by Singleton. He used every available portion of the second he had to get Norris.
Norris is not going to burn it down the line, but he gets down maybe more rapidly than you might anticipate with a stockily built catcher, and he puts the heat on Matt Dominguez with that throw. And this is a nice job by Singleton. You can see Matt knew what was presented to him, got rid of the ball quickly.
Brandon Moss is the batter. He takes strike 1. Moss had .260 with 23 homers, has 72 runs batted in. And that big hit last night off Tony Sipp in the 9th inning that tied the ball game. 1 ball, 1 strike. Keuchel has the lowest ERA for an Astros starter this year. Slurve misses it. It's a 2-ball, 1-strike count. Keuchel leads the majors in his ground ball to fly ball ratio, 3.65 grounders for every fly ball. 2-2. Had 3 fly ball outs in the first. Moss is down on strikes. Number 1 for Keuchel.
Well, the lefty gets Moss this time, but last night against Tony Sipp, what a huge hit that was. And he felt like he had learned something in watching Tony Sipp a previous at bat, and apparently he did.
Switch hitting Alberto Callaspo comes up at .237 with 3 homers, 33 runs batted in. Ground ball to Dominguez. After the leadoff homer by Donaldson, Keuchel gets the next 3. It's 6-1 Houston.
6-1 Astros over the A's. And time for you to tweet your photos using hashtag CSNHFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast that is brought to you by AT&T. Some injury news to report for you. This player is trying to make his way off the DL. That's Alex Presley, who they're missing from the outfield. There was put on the DL back on July 8th with that strained oblique. He is making progress, guys. Starting to swing the bat. That is huge news for him. Just off the tee, though. We'll see how that goes, and hopefully we'll see him sooner than later.
That's a good note. Thanks, Julia, for that. Alex Presley watching as Kike Hernandez leads it off in the home second inning. 6-1 Astros. Hernandez started the 6-run rally with 1 out. He singled to center field. Fouls it back. 0-2. Kike, an aggressive player. It's been fun to watch him play the game. He's wound up in center field quite a bit. George Springer had been playing center when Dexter Fowler got hurt. Then Springer went down. And with the fact that Presley has also played center field, Kike is really kind of the number 4 center fielder on this club right now. Had not played much at all in the outfield. Was primarily a second baseman, shortstop in the minors, but he was taken pretty well to center. Fouls that one away with Castro and Kraus due up next against the reliever.
Well, watching Kike play shortstop left me feeling like he could probably play any place in the outfield rather easily. I was thoroughly impressed with what I saw at shortstop from Kike.
Hamill misses, and it's a 2-ball, 2-strike count.
And did any of us think that this kid that came up with no fanfare whatsoever was going to handle major league pitching like this?
Boy. Sean Gallagher, the last A's pitcher, to give up 6 in the first. It's 3-2. Ryan Cook was warming up in that first inning when the Astros sent 10 men to the plate. Rolled out to shortstop. Lowry comes in. Makes the transfer and the throw to get him 1 out. The Oakland A's are 8-1 in rubber games of series. This is the deciding game of this 3-game series. The Astros 5-6 in rubber games. Jason Castro comes up next. Castro single to center field in the first inning. Well, as disappointing as it was for the Astros to lose the game last night, if they can still get a series win against Oakland, that's a nice turnaround. They were swept by Miami to open this homestand, and they face the Toronto Blue Jays with the first of a 4-game set tomorrow night here.
Looks like some trade action may have begun today.
What's going on?
There's a rumor out that says that the Indians have agreed to trade their veteran right-hander Justin Masterson to the Cardinals.
Interesting. Cardinals were thought to be shopping for David Price, among others. 2-1. There was a note on Twitter a moment ago that apparently the nuanced David Price talks by Tampa Bay have indicated that if the Cardinals make the right offer for Price, or the Dodgers, that Price could be dealt. Well, now, if the Cardinals have gone in another direction, perhaps the Dodgers will hone in on Mr. Price, and what a rotation that could be for the playoffs if they get him. Foul back 2-2, and then there is Cole Hamels. Not possibility that the Phillies might trade him. And he's signed through 2018. According to a report today by Bob Nightingale in USA Today, the Phillies don't want to trade him. He's not readily available. That's a breaking ball for a strikeout. Strikeout number 2. But he might be out there for the team that would put together a tremendous package for Philadelphia to get him.
Some pretty good pitchers that appear to be maybe available in this trade deadline time of the year.
Who else is out there?
Well, I mean, you mentioned to me Lester and Price. When you have names like that, Masterson's a good one. But those are quality names.
Mark Krause got an RBI, bouncing into a force play.
And then you wonder, and scouts have been hanging around the Astros recently. Is anybody at the back end of the bullpen being talked about? In my chats with the scouts last couple of days, it seems that may be the case. We've been hearing that maybe a starting pitcher could be talked about. I'm hopeful that some of the names on the Astros starting rotation right now are still going to be Astros.
In the air to center field, Burns. Hamill has put together a 1-2-3 second inning. It's 6-1 Houston after 2.
Top of the third. It is time to talk about in-game live over at CSNHouston.com. That's where you can find all sorts of pitcher-hitter stats that go beyond the box score. You can also vote for player of the game. Your top choice is shown on TV afterwards on Astros Postgame Live. That's in-game live at CSNHouston.com. Twitter question time, and it is about the most improved Astro. Who is the most improved Astro from last year to this? Of course, there are several guys on this team that weren't on last year's team, so it could include that too. Tweet me at HoChenCSN. Explain yourself, because I'm reading the best tweets on TV. And so I send it back to Brownie. I hear he has a special guest. Brownie?
Christy Miller's here. Thanks for that, Howard Chen. And there's ball one. And Christy, you have all kinds of paraphernalia with. We've got bobbleheads. You got a jersey.
I do.
And Legends Weekend is coming up starting Friday night. Tell us about it.
It is. Before we get into that, we were just showing clips of Altuve out there, as Howard was talking about, most improved player, and obviously he's having a record-breaking season this year, and just wanted to call attention to the ceremony tomorrow. Jose Altuve has been nominated as the Astros representative for the Heart and Hustle Award, which will be voted on, one overall winner in Major League Baseball in November. And Larry Dierker will be presenting him with his award pregame tomorrow, so that'll be special for Altuve. So we're excited for him for receiving that award. But yes, jam-packed weekend after that, heading in to Legends Weekend on Friday.
There's a good play by Petit. So get Reddick run out. What's going on Friday night?
Friday night, big and bright Friday night installment. We'll have a post-game classic Disney-themed fireworks show presented by Marathon Oil Corporation. But before the game, folks can come out for a Lance Berkman bobblehead presented by Houston Methodist. We're excited for that. And then that'll head right into Saturday, which is actually the biggest day of our Legends Weekend. First, we'll be giving away an Andy Pettitte pinstripe jersey presented by Waste Management. So bringing back out this new retro. I'm gonna have to go pretty quickly here.
Yeah, we've got two getting quicker.
So Andy Pettitte jersey on Saturday. We'll also have quite a few of our alumni out just enjoying the evening in a suite. We're hosting them. We'll also have an autograph session with them beginning at 5 o'clock. There will be 3 different sessions with some of our notable alumni: Enos Cabell, Larry Durker, J.R. Richard, Jose Cruz, Bob Watson, Roger Metzger, Glenn Davis, just to name a few. There'll be 3 installments, $5, $5.20, and $5.40, so I encourage fans to come out early to get those autographs. They are free of charge and will be on the main concourse behind the Insperity Club. And then on Sunday, Legends Weekend will culminate with a Roy Oswalt bobblehead for all these giveaways for 10,000 fans. That'll be a really exciting weekend for us here. Is this Keuchel? This is Keuchel. I told you last time that next time he was pitching, I was going to ask for a full inning, and I forgot to do that.
Next time you get a different starter. But where's the, here's Roy.
Here's Roy right here.
There's Roy. You remember number 44. There he goes.
Yes, sir. And Bergman, Roy, and Pettit, obviously 3 players that have retired here in the last year. So excited to honor them this weekend.
Thanks, Christy.
Thank you.
6-1 Houston. First inning on 6 hits. They got a 2-run homer from Robbie Grossman. Then a Donaldson home run leading off the second, got the A's a run. It's 6-1 now as the Astros come up in the home third against Jason Hamill. Hamill had a 1-2-3 second. It'll be Singleton, Dominguez, and Corcoran batting in the bottom of the third here. John Singleton drew a walk and scored a run in that 6-run first. That's ball 1 to him. The Astros got some tough news about Josh Zeid today. He will be undergoing surgery on his right foot on Wednesday with Dr. Kevin Varner. He's had bilateral sesamoiditis, which I think involves the bone that attaches to the big toe, from what somebody said. And so he'll have surgery on the right foot, and then 6 weeks later surgery on the left foot, and could be back by April of next year. So that's tough news for Josh Zeid, who's been dealing with that problem for a while now, going back to the last year or so. 2 balls and a strike.
It's a mid-90s right arm, one that sure could serve well.
It sure could. Strike for Hamill evens the count at 2-2. So already for Hamill, 63 pitches in this game with nobody out in the third inning. Breaking pitch, ball 3. It's 3-2. Sonny Gray will take the ball for the A's when they get back home to start their homestand Friday night against Kansas City. And they'll go with Scott Kazmir and Jesse Chavez in that 3-game set against the Royals. Singleton chased it and struck out. Looked like he was off balance on that swing. Strikeout number 3 for Hamill now.
Looks like just some running action, small on a pitch down and away. A tough location. I think Singleton trying to protect on that strike zone.
And Dominguez hit a ball into right center field. It went as an RBI single in the first inning. Domingo to right field this time. Reddick with the catch, 2 outs. So it's been a totally different Jason Hamill since the first. He's retired 5 in a row after that first inning.
It's all about perspective. From the Astros side, good at bats, staying on pitches, getting jammed a bit, getting some base hits to set up a big home run by Robbie Grossman. From the A's side, maybe that unfortunate Jason Hamill, who's now trying to make sure he stays in the ball game and has a positive day, and maybe when it's all said and done, gives his team a chance to win.
Carlos Corcoran looks at an off-speed pitch. There's strike 1 to Corcoran. He had the RBI single to center field in the first. Keep an eye on that trade front today with the deadline coming up at 3 p.m. tomorrow. Central time, that is. So there are a few things in the wind, according to reports anyway. Foul back, and it's still no balls, 2 strikes. The Phillies are drawing a lot of attention because of their need to retool. That's the opinion of many anyway. Dodgers also are thought to be very aggressive. They have Matt Kemp and that situation. But he is owed more than $100 million on his contract. Corcoran strikes out. That's number 4 for Hamill. That ends the 3rd inning with the score 6-1 Astros.
The Houston Astros face off against their interstate rivals, the Texas Rangers, in a 3-game series. That's August 8th through the 10th at Minute Maid Park. 4 tickets. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit Astros.com. Do not miss Ron Washington. He is a show unto himself, and he has had a tough show to watch here recently.
That's foul footage.
Oh, no, that's the daily Ron Washington.
We go to the 4th inning. 6-1 ball game. The Astros lead it with 6 straight having been retired by Dallas Keuchel after the Donaldson leadoff homer in the 2nd inning. Nice looking chapeau on that gentleman. Jed Lowry leads it off. He hit a fly ball to center in the 1st inning. Since the Astros traded him to Oakland, he has hit .333 at Minute Maid Park. Keuchel's slurve comes in for strike 1. Keuchel did not get a ground ball out in the 1st inning. He got 2 in the 2nd and 3 in the 3rd. So you might be reading the names of some big time prospects if these deals do go through for major stars in the game. 1-1. The Dodgers have a center fielder named Jock Peterson, who's at AAA Albuquerque, highly regarded. They have a shortstop named Corey Seager. left-handed pitcher Julio Urias. Those three guys are in demand in case they do acquire a big star for their rotation.
I'd love to know what percentage of these big name prospects ever make it and have an impact in the big leagues.
Very good question.
You know, some turn out to be great players. There's no question. Jed Lowry's going to take his second stroll away from home plate because of a disagreement with a call on a strike.
Well, if you disagree with a call, you can take a stroll away from your microphone.
I've done that a time or two.
Cap by the mound, out to shortstop. Gregorio Petit zips it over first base.
Problem for me, Bronny, it was me I was disagreeing with.
So now the ground ball machine is kicking in. Keuchel, he has 5 straight ground ball outs. Yoenis Cespedes hit the fly ball to center in the first. John Lester was to have pitched for Boston tonight, but he has been scratched. Boston will be playing at home against Toronto. Brandon Workman is being called up for that start from the minor leagues. That's tap foul. After the game last night, the manager John Farrell made that announcement, and he said, out of fairness to John, with all the rumors swirling around, we thought it would be better to scratch him from this start.
Oh, please. Scratch doesn't generally take place for that reason.
Interestingly, apparently Lester has said publicly to the media that he would be receptive to returning to Boston next year as a free agent, even if traded.
Dallas Keuchel just keeps coming at it, and on the previous pitch, trying to work the inside corner, looked like he put it right there, didn't get the call, but without making a face, just quickly comes right back to the plate. Real grinder out there.
Foul back 2-2. Very professional.
Yes, he is. And not the only guy in this rotation that takes that tact.
Tomorrow night, it's Jared Cozart against the Blue Jays and Drew Hutchison at 7:10. First of a 4-game series. Fly ball to right field. Grossman. 2 outs.
Got some real Astros killers this year, certainly. Josh Donaldson, who has homered today. Guy's a dangerous hitter. Hitting below the 250 mark on the season, but he just drives in runs and hits a lot of home runs. Josh Reddick has had his struggles against a lot of teams out there, but he has swung it well against Houston. He's an outstanding right fielder. Had a big game winner earlier in the year against Houston.
Donaldson takes a look at ball 1. Yeah, he's hit some opposite field home runs, 8 of them this year. He got that big 2-run double in the 9th inning last night to add to their lead, make it 7-4 Oakland. He's one of those guys who's had key hits, and he will be in the MVP voting at some point. They vote for 10 in the MVP award. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Is that WAR slipping?
4.6.
With 18 errors, it ought to slip a little bit, but again, offensively, you wouldn't worry if you're with the A's about a batting average that's not sky high. He just produces runs.
2-2. Converted catcher, Josh Donaldson. John Lester has made 241 starts for the Red Sox. He's 30 years old. He would be very much in demand for a contending team. Donaldson moves back from it. It's 3-2 to Josh, who's 28 years old, from Pensacola, Florida. He went to Auburn. Finished 4th in the MVP voting last year.
Last fastball was spotted well.
Donaldson not biting, and he takes a 2-out walk. That's his 48th walk of the year, first of the day for Keuchel. The Oakland A's lead the American League in drawing walks. And they have the third fewest strikeouts. So they put the pressure on, keep the ball in play. They do well in the clutch. Derek Norris grounded to third in the second inning. This year was the first year the A's have had 3 players with at least 10 homers by the end of May. Ground ball. Dominguez backs up, throws to second to Altuve for the out on Donaldson. And it's no runs, no hits, and a man stranded. It's 6-1 Houston.
Of the A's, and now our minor league report brought to you by your local Honda dealer. Domingo Santana, you got a chance to see him a little bit in an Astros uniform, and he had his struggles striking out a bunch. But last night, 4 for 4, also drew a walk, drove in a pair in the Oklahoma City 7-3 win over Round Rock. Domingo Santana is a guy that, in the minor leagues at least, when he's gotten the swing together, has proved to be a very dangerous hitter. And how Astros fans would love to see that bat come together.
Brad Peacock got the win for Oklahoma City last night. He went 5 2/3, giving up 7 hits, 3 runs in the victory at Round Rock over Justin Germano, 7-3. It's 6-1 Astros as Robbie Grossman bats in the 4th inning. Grossman hit a 2-run homer to right field, first time up. And there's a strike upstairs for Hamill, who has regrouped since allowing 6 runs on 6 hits in the first. Foul ball, and it's no balls, 2 strikes. Jonathan VR had a couple of hits. Santana, as you mentioned, had 4 hits last night for the winning Oklahoma City Redhawks. They're now 55 and 57. Mark Appel makes his Double-A debut tonight for Corpus Christi. Ground ball, and there's the backhand play by Moss, tossing, and Hamill is there for out number 1.
Nice lead by Brandon Moss. Maybe a half a hair late from the mound. Hamill better get those outs when he's got them presented.
Well, with Oakland's vaunted attack, and we saw the quick strike capability last night, the A's certainly are not out of this game. Only in the 4th inning, trailing by 5. And a big part of whether they can come back and win would be provided by the pitching. The Astros trying to play add-on have Petit batting. Petit singled to left center field in the 1st inning. Strike 1 for Hamill. Kike Hernandez and company had quite a first. And now Norris is walking away from home plate. Looks like he may want another catcher's mitt.
Looks like he has no urgency in that need.
Flipping another mitt. He's ready to go. According to John Morosi, the Cubs are close to acquiring Felix DeBrant, the left-handed pitcher from the Red Sox.
Red Sox are going to dismantle that staff?
They might do some work on it. Tapper to third base. Is a play by Donaldson. Throwing out Petit, 2 outs. We go to Julia Morales.
Hey guys, I know you're wondering what players are up to before they come to the ballpark every day. Well, Jose Altuve, a huge basketball fan, had a chance to hang out with the great Tracy McGrady the other day. Even took a picture with him, checked out his house, which, as you can imagine, is huge and amazing. Has his own basketball court. That's where they're standing right there. Altuve was a huge Tracy McGrady fan. He's a big basketball fan, obviously, but wore his clothing and everything. Could not stop talking about his trip to T-Mac's house the other day.
Very good. He looks at ball 1 upstairs. That's Callaspo at third, by the way, for the A's, who just made that nice play. Altuve is 0 for 2. So that's the long and the short of it. Altuve and McGrady. Around ahead. 2 balls, no strikes for Hamill.
That's not pretty.
Looks at it and it's 2-1.
That's a good curveball. You finally get it down where you want to have it and you don't get a call. Makes it tough.
It's actually 3-0. There you go. Scoreboard had 2-1. Now 3 balls, 1 strike to Altuve. Altuve has that WAR of 3.8. That's the highest WAR by an Astros second baseman since Jeff Kent in 04. He takes a walk. That ends the string of 9 straight outs set down by Hammer. And Kike Hernandez singled and scored in the first inning. He's 1 for 2. Fly ball to shallow right field. Punto underneath it. And that's the 3rd out to end the 4th inning with the score still 6-1 Astros.
Lead over the A's. Great guests, hot topics, and no-holds-barred debate. Kevin Eschenfelder serves it up fresh every single weeknight on Sports Talk Live at 5 p.m. only on Comcast Sportsnet. Today's guests are Brooke Bentley, John McClain, and Richmond Foster head football coach Sean McDowell. I think they're talking golf today.
Okay. All right. Dallas Keuchel, 6-1 ball game. Works the 5th inning now with Moss, Callaspo, and Reddick. To bat. Moss struck out in the 2nd inning. David Price has run into problems in his final start before the trade deadline against the Brewers today. Strike to Moss. That's not to say he will be traded. I would be somewhat surprised because the Rays have gotten right back in the thick of things, at least for a wild card spot.
I'm with you on that.
No balls, 2 strikes.
That would be a real sell-off that would sting, I think, for the fans there. The few that there are.
Moss on one in the dirt takes it, and it's 1-2. Price today against Milwaukee went 7 innings, allowing 4 runs, 3 of them earned. So certainly not a terrible start for David. Giovanni Gallardo much better, 7 scoreless, and it is 5-0 Brewers as the Rays bat in the bottom of the 9th. Broken bat looper over Altuve for a single into right field in front of Robbie Grossman. So a Moss hit, and he's 1 for 2 now. Only the second hit for Oakland today.
Some recent nice at bats against left-handers for Brandon Moss. Oh, it was such a huge hit he came up with last night. Waits on the breaking ball right here. And still hits it off the end of the bat, but take that anytime.
6-1, and here's Callaspo, the third baseman, who grounded out earlier. There's strike 1. He will be plugged in at the infield spots, giving, in this case, Josh Donaldson a chance to DH today. Up the middle, Altuve's right there. He steps on the bag, throws to first. That's a 4-3 double play.
Yeah, that was pretty well set up to begin with. Altuve almost right in line with this ground ball. He probably had the option to flip the ball up over the bag to start the double play 4-6-3, or take it yourself. Come on and get it. And it's fairly close at first.
Josh Reddick looks at strike 1. Reddick hit a ground ball to shortstop in the 3rd inning. Mets have climbed all over the Phillies 11-2. They're in the bottom of the 8th at New York. Zach Wheeler started for the Mets, pitched a fine game against Kyle Kendrick. 1-1.
Poker face. Delivered the pitch right where he wanted, didn't get the call. Nothing changed.
2 balls, 1 strike. The Astros will be in Philadelphia next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights. Wondered who will be leaving that Phillies club, if anybody, in a trade. Could be Marlon Byrd. Might be one of the pitchers. Applebaum, certainly, I would think. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I wonder what the perceived value for Applebaum at this point would be.
It's probably not all that great. If he doesn't want to pitch 3 days in a row, that doesn't really work for a contender. Line drive caught by Keiko, and that ends the top of the 5th inning on a scorcher just below knee high. Keiko makes a good play and keeps the lead 6-1.
rewind. And 2 nights ago, can't even watch this with a straight face. 2 nights ago, the Astros offense going off 4 home runs the other night. And this is the celebration after Mark Krause hit a solo home run. George Springer, of course, getting on action. Dave Tremblay, the bench coach, who we don't see a lot of emotion out of usually, having some fun. The guy's talking about just how the team had so much fun the other night beating the A's, but having Tremblay go off like that made it even that much better, and asked Tremblay about it. He said, well, I really just wanted to show them how silly they look when they celebrate, which is, you know, exactly something that Tremblay would say.
He is old school, as you know, Julia. Jason Castro takes the first 2 pitches. It's 2-0 with the Astros up 6-0. And what a difference in the emotion on the bench between that game and then last night. 3-0. That is the most disappointing way, of course, to lose a baseball game. Take a lead to the 9th inning and then have the other team rally, as the Oakland A's did. But the Astros came right out with 6 in the first today, regrouping. And there's a 4-pitch walk to Castro. That's the second walk for Hamill.
I'm sorry, but there's going to need to be a new team rule for Dave Tremblay to keep that uniform top secured right up to the top.
Yeah, there is. Make that the 3rd walk for Hamill.
Yeah, there we go. Now that I'll accept.
Maintain decorum at all times. Mark Krause bounced into a force play and a run scored to make it 1-0 Houston in the first. Hit a fly ball in the 2nd inning. Now, Jeff Luhnow has said he would like to add a bat to this ball club in a trade if the price is right. There's ball 1.
Yeah, and you wonder, you weigh it always against a bat you might already have in the minor leagues. Tough trying to figure out who those guys are and what you're willing to give up.
Ground ball first, knocked down. Moss will just take the out of first base after he did not handle it cleanly. That's all he had available to him. 1 out. Castro second.
Second time today, Mark Krause has put one on the ground with a man that could set up a double play, but second time the A's were unable to turn a double play.
Right in his mitt.
Yep.
They dropped out.
Yeah, that was there, and I think there may have been a shot for that double play.
Moss has started 52 games at first base this year. He's also played the outfield. John Singleton bats with Ryan Cook up in the bullpen again for the 2nd time. There's ball 1 to Singleton, who has a walk and a run scored. Then he struck out. 88 pitches for Hamill, necessitating that bullpen warm-up for Ryan Cook now. Strike 1-1, and even though he gave up the 6 runs in the first, he is not allowed to hit since that first inning. He's walked 3 and he's fanned 4, thereby keeping his team within striking distance the way the A's score runs, and not blowing up the bullpen by checking out in the first inning. 2 balls and a strike.
There was a lot of patience displayed there by Bob Melvin, but in the long run, 162 games, when you look at the overall scope there, very wise to see if you can get that starting pitcher deeper into the ball game.
Singleton looks at ball 3. 3-1 to John. Well, a couple things are at work here. One is Hamill trying to get established in an Oakland uniform. The other is not wanting to use up the entire bullpen. Line drive hit for left field inside the foul pole, and that one will get out. That's a 2-run opposite field home run for John Singleton, number 8. And it's 8-1 now. The Astros play add-on after not getting a hit since the first. Singleton now with 26 runs batted in.
Well, that's the second left field home run we've seen from John Singleton in recent games. He just gets kind of a nothing fastball up out over the plate. Can't pull the pitch, so he lays the barrel to it and hits it out the other way. And he's got plenty of power to make this happen. This could become a regular event, you would think, for John Singleton. Take advantage of that short porch in left field.
He provides a knockout punch for Jason Hamill and gives the Astros a 7-run lead. It's 8-1 with the A's going to the bullpen. Here in the 5th inning, we will step aside and showers are beckoning. More tomorrow. Bobby Grossman provided the first in the 1st inning. Now John Singleton has hit number 8 of the season, giving him 26 runs batted in to make it 8-1 Astros here in the bottom of the 5th with 1 out. That ends the day for Jason Hamill, and it begins the day for Ryan Cook. In 34 games, he's 0-1. His ERA is 2.70.
Put up some really nice numbers with that opposition batting average against it, 193. Right-handers taking the brunt of the heat from Cook all the way down to 149. Those are solid numbers. Whip quality at 1.2.
Been bringing those numbers down in terms of ERA and whip by throwing 14 straight scoreless outings, 13 2/3 innings over that stretch. Had a 14-game stretch in 2012, but this is the 5th longest active scoreless inning streak in the American League for Ryan Cook, 27 years old, from Clovis, California. He'll be facing Matt Dominguez. Now we're going to get another mitt change for Derek Norris.
Is this optional catcher's mitt afternoon here?
I think this happened last time they were in town. There must be a different feel for, maybe different mitt for a different pitcher. What do you think? That doesn't make any sense.
We're going to need a new jog for your new piece of equipment rule.
Domingo singled in a run in that 6-run first. Then he hit a fly ball to right in the 3rd. And it's ball 1. Cook pitched in 2 of the games in Oakland last week when the Astros were there. And he did not allow a hit in either of those outings, covering 1 2/3 innings. Hadn't given up a hit all year to the Astros. It's 1-1. He's pitched 4 times against Houston without any hits allowed in 3 1/3 innings. He missed some time with the right forearm strain. Bouncer out to second base, fielded by Punta. 2 down. For Hamill, it was 4 1/3 innings of work, 7 hits, 8 runs allowed, all earned, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. Carlos Corcoran had one of the run-producing hits. That was a single in the 1st inning. He struck out in the 3rd. Final in from Tampa Bay, 5-0 win for Milwaukee. Giovanni Gallardo going to 6-5 with the win. David Price 11-8 with the loss. Francisco Rodriguez gets his 31st save. It's ball 1. Milwaukee club looking strong at this point. Holding down the top spot in the NL Central. Coming into play today, Milwaukee led Pittsburgh by 1, St. Louis by 1.5, Cincinnati by 5.
Brewers have dialed it back up a bit.
They might be in the deal-making mode today. 1 ball, 1 strike, or tomorrow.
Well, they're doing it with Ryan Braun. Took an 0 for 5 today, hitting .287. The Brewers have been accustomed to Ryan Braun hitting about .320, .330.
Yeah, that is a low batting average for him. 1-2. Well, you clued us into what the Cardinals were doing. Now we see a headline that they have acquired Justin Masterson of Cleveland.
Minor league outfielder, I think, the big piece going the other way.
James Ramsey. It's 2-2. Well, they had been talking, according to reports, with the Red Sox about Lester, but those reports said that they would have had to give up Oscar Taveras. He is a top-notch young outfielder for them on the big league club. 3 balls, 2 strikes. So now what does this do to the Indians after they deal Masterson? They're not out of it.
Yeah, that's a great question. A team that's a couple of games under 500 at the start of play today.
Line drive left field, and that's caught by Cespedes to end the Astros 5th inning, an inning that started with a walk to Castro, and then Singleton found the Landry's Crawford boxes with a 2-run Oppo homer, his 8th, to make it 8-1 Houston.
Oakland. Astros, Dynamo, Rockets, and more. We've got all your Houston sports news covered with Sportsnet Central weeknights at 6:10 and midnight only on Comcast Sportsnet. Guys.
Thanks, Julia. There you have it, and that'll get you brought up on everything that's going on with training camps, of course, open in the NFL. Daily news to report. A lot going on in baseball, certainly this week with the trade deadline tomorrow. And there will still be deals in August. But it's kind of an exciting time as you get close to the deadline. Eric O'Flaherty, a lefty, is warming up for Oakland in the bullpen with Nick Punto leading it off. In inning number 6, it's 8-1 Houston. Dallas Keuchel shooting for win number 10 of the season. And he delivers strike 1. Dallas is 2-4 at home despite a very good ERA of 2.87. He's never beaten Oakland. Ground ball, and there's Dominguez. 1 out. Dallas pitched well here against Oakland. April 26th, got a no decision, giving up 3 runs in 6 1/3. The Astros won that game 7-6, but he did not personally get the win. This is his second outing of the year against the A's. Billy Burns is the batter. Burns is 0 for 2. His first major league start. Strike one from the Atlanta area, and we understand on Twitter that he has some friends here watching from the Atlanta area today.
He's kind of in that friends category for Milo Hamilton and his son Mark. Apparently Mark was working with Billy Burns' father, and they kind of became friendly, and that's why Milo was out the last day or so.
Good play by Altuve to get to Speedy Burns. 2 outs. We were hearing that his dad played pro football with the Jets as a running back. An exciting time for Billy Burns, who just arrived on the scene here Monday night. First major league start today. Now 2 outs as Keuchel is in the ground ball mode again, and it's Lowry batting. Lowry 0 for 2. Ball 1 to Lowry. Lowry has really excelled against the Astros with a .347 batting average this season. That's upstairs to him. It's 2-0 to Jed. Now this Oakland club has really gone for it already with the big trade with the Cubs. On past Dominguez into the left field corner. Lowry heads for second base, and the throw not in time. Lowry reaching with this 2-out ground ball that went under the glove of Domingo, who tried to play it off to the side. 27th double of the year for Lowry.
Ball, you'll see that called an error probably a lot of times. Not an easy play, that second hop that so often can be troublesome for a third baseman. That was pretty much lined up right at Matt to begin with.
Lowry's 27th double. Third hit for the A's. Keuchel has thrown first pitch strikes to 14 of 19. This one in the air off the bat of Cespedes, and it's Singleton underneath to end the A's 6th inning. With no runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. Fine game underway for Dallas. Keuchel and an 8-1 lead for the Astros.
Let's turn to Robbie Grossman. Why not? Robbie Grossman launched a bomb back in the first inning. 2-run shot as he took it to right field. Took advantage of a wild and struggling Jason Hamill. He got to 3-1 on that count, and Robbie did what you try to do as a major league hitter on a 3-1 fastball. Hit the head out and drive it. The OPS monster attacks.
8-1 ball game. The Astros lead it. Well, that 6-run first went a long way, but then Dallas Keuchel has pitched superbly. Now the Astros look to get some more runs. Eric O'Flaherty in 7 games, 1-0 with a 2.25 ERA, has a whip below 1. That is outstanding. Ryan Cook retired both men he faced, 2/3 of an inning, no hits, no runs, no walks, no strikeouts. Now Grossman, who hit the homer batting left, 1 for 2, turns around to the right side, takes strike 1 from O'Flaherty. O'Flaherty has been on the 60-day disabled list, coming back from Tommy John surgery. Was reinstated July 3rd. That's the reason for his 7 games with Oakland this year. 1 ball, 1 strike. He got a win against Baltimore July 18th. That was his first win since April of 2013. He throws a strike. That makes it 1-2 to Robbie Grossman. First time O'Flaherty has pitched against the Astros this season. He has 12 career appearances against Houston. Very good numbers. 0.77 ERA. 2-2. One of 3 lefties in the bullpen for Bob Melvin. He has the closer, Sean Doolittle, and former Astro Fernando Abad. O'Flaherty was drafted by Seattle in 03. He's from Walla Walla, Washington. They play volleyball in Walla Walla, Washington.
Actually, you just took me back to an old commercial when I was a kid growing up in L.A. It was one of their beer commercials that had that that famous city mentioned in it.
Yeah. Grossman draws the leadoff walk. You ever play volleyball?
No, I haven't, but you know what? I think there's a lot of merit to it in a number of sports. I think you could in baseball, I mean, if you had the screens setting right down each line, every foul ball would be in play.
Yeah.
It'd be a beautiful thing.
Well, we should go out and play sometime.
You get the screens, I'll bring the ball.
Gregorio Petit is 1 for 2 in this game. That's strike 1 to him. Petit, Venezuelan, very good hands. And we mentioned he had come back from that knee surgery to reach the big leagues for the first time in 5 years. Been quite a story. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jose Altuve was excited this winter when the Astros signed Petit. He knew of him. Fellow Venezuelan. He said, oh, he has great hands. That's a little tapper. It goes foul for Petit. And Jonathan Villar is playing every day at Oklahoma City. He got hurt after the Astros sent him down. He missed a few games. Petit had been playing on the infield quite a bit of the time there. Gregorio is 29 years old, and he was with Oakland in 08 and 09. Oakland had signed him at the beginning of his professional career back in 01. Last year he was at AAA Tucson. He missed 2011 with surgery on his ACL, so it had been 5 years since he had been in the big leagues. Foul ball goes back out of play.
Now I'm going to pretend like we're doing ESPN right now. Okay. We'll talk a little football, okay?
Yeah.
You were mentioning Billy Burns' dad playing with the New York Jets. He did. Bob Burns back in 1974 gained 158 yards, and he is not at camp today for the Jets. So no, that's our story for New York Jets football today.
Bob Burns.
Bob Burns did have a receiving touchdown though, 83 yards in that regard.
Struck him out looking. What was his average per carry, you know?
Well, 158 yards in. Boy, now you're really pressing me. See, this was supposed to not be one of those in-depth stories for ESPN, but just a kind of a light, get to know the guy story.
Well, what was his time in the 40?
Okay, so this is a real story then.
If you're going to do football.
Okay.
You have to know his time in the 40. Altuve is over 2 and 1. Ground ball single through the middle, and that's a 12-game hitting streak for Altuve. Hit number 151 of his illustrious season. Not that we're counting, but it's fun to follow his progress.
Oh, I'm counting. I'm counting. I want to see every one of these add up to a major league leading total. I want to see him lead not only the league, but the big leagues in batting average. And you know what? I think he can do it, because even when he's fallen in some little cold spells, and everybody does, he still gets his hits.
Yeah. Kike Hernandez, 2 men on, takes the strike. Kike is 1 for 3. O'Flaherty was with Atlanta after opening with Seattle in his career. Fly ball out to right center field. Burns over. And he lets the right fielder Reddick come in for the catch. 2 outs. Reddick was playing center field last night. Good range.
You know, that's got to be a bit of a challenge. You're the center fielder. You got great wheels. Come with that reputation, and you're supposed to be the take charge guy. But you've got a terrific right fielder in Reddick coming after the ball. Probably as the kid, you just back off and let the veteran take it.
Too bad. If he wants it, it's his. We talk about the center fielder being the take charge guy, but if he's a rookie, first major league start, not so much usually. Jason Castro looks at ball 1. He has a single and a walk in this game. Well, you know, new ballpark for Billy Burns. That could be part of it too.
You're the kid. I mean, that's tough. It's a challenge.
Yeah, playing in a park with a roof. You know, it's a little bit tougher sometimes to track the ball if a player hasn't played.
Yep.
In a park with a roof.
These are the first place A's, and you're going to step in and try to be the take charge guy. Then you get in the clubhouse after the game and get ready to pick up some spread, and the guys say, back of the line, Rook.
Castro fouls it. It's a 2-ball, 1-strike count to Jason.
Pretty good list of names when you go through all those old former running backs for the New York Jets.
What have you come up with?
Oh, goodness, you got just so many. Curtis Martin, John Riggins.
Oh, John Riggins,
Ed
number 44.
Yeah. Freeman McNeil.
Yes.
And then you mentioned the other day Emerson Boozer. He was with Matt Snell.
It's going way back. Back in the Joe Namath days.
LaDainian Tomlinson was a Jet.
Oh.
Pretty good list.
How are the Jets going to be this year?
I have no idea. I'm going to listen to what what's the head coach's name?
Well, they changed. So
no, the Jets, they still have their man. They've still got yeah.
I thought they had a head coaching change.
I think the Jets have still got their boy, son of former Oilers defensive coordinator.
Okay, we're going to have to
draw a blank.
Bring ourselves up to date on this football show we're doing, about which we know nothing.
I'm drawing a blank on my up to date. Rex Ryan, yeah.
Okay, he's still there.
Still there, I believe.
Right, okay.
No, there was talk that he was going to be gone, but not the case.
All right. Castro struck out. It's no runs at hit. 2 men left after 6. 8-1 Astros.
Astros on top of the Oakland A's. Every Thursday home game right here at Minute Maid Park this year is Dollar Dog Thursday. The next Dollar Dog feast is tomorrow when the Astros play these, or rather not these, but the incoming Toronto Blue Jays. For tickets, call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit Astros.com and bring your own little dog if you desire. You may not be able to bring him in, but share your meal with a dog.
What do you do with him then?
There are plenty of needing dogs out on the street right now.
Apparently, Ryan is still coaching the Jets, so you got that nailed down.
You let him park your car. That's what you do.
Josh Donaldson, the DH, leads it off. He homered in the second, leading off that frame. There's ball one from Dallas Keuchel, who has 11 ground ball outs. Donaldson also has a walk in addition to his homer. The Jets were 6th in rushing last season. By the way, Ash. It's 1-1.
Really?
Yeah, they were. They averaged 134.9 rushing yards per game.
You have done your homework.
Fernando Abad in the bullpen for Oakland.
This turned into a much more in-depth story than I thought.
Well, we're in trouble if you're turning it into a football show.
Tomorrow we will cover.
Tomorrow we'll cover the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah, then why not? Let's do it. They've got a chance.
Well, we'll check up on their injuries and see how close they are to regaining the services of those powerful hitters who have been out of the lineup for a while.
They need Edwin Encarnacion.
Yes, they do.
He will not rush for many yards this year, but when it comes to the power game, he can deliver.
That is strikeout number 2 for Keuchel. And here at Minute Maid Park, he leads at 8-1. He's allowed just 3 hits. Norris is the batter. Norris 0 for 2.
May I say that Astros starting pitching here in this 3-game series with the Oakland A's has been spectacular.
You may.
Thought you were weighing your options there.
No, I was looking at the Jets. There's strike 1. We've got to find out about the Jets.
Well, there will be no Tim Tebow at quarterback this year.
Well, on one of the talk shows this morning, somebody threw out the Canadian Football League as a possibility for him.
I don't understand why he doesn't take that on.
Apparently he's doing commentary on the SEC TV network.
You don't take many snaps that way, though.
No.
He says he still wants to play quarterback. He has a burning desire, I believe.
Well, you know how the networks always want to mic up players?
Uh-huh.
Maybe he could do commentary while he's playing.
There you go. That would be good. I think he could floor some linebackers.
It's 1-2. Red Sox have dealt Felix Dubron to the Cubs, left-handed pitcher. Our buddy Jim Deshaies has worked a game that lasted more than 6.5 hours last night. Went 16 innings. Longest in time in the long and illustrious history of the Chicago Cubs. They won. Did you see how they won?
Sack fly?
Yeah, John Baker was the winning pitcher. He was their catcher, and he pitched the 16th. And then he scored the winning run on a sack fly. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, it was the longest game for not only the Cubs, but for the Colorado Rockies.
That's true also. In their long and illustrious history, they've never played a 6.5-hour ball game. How long have they been around? Since 93?
Yeah, I believe that's right.
Norris takes a 1-out walk. It's only the second walk for Dallas Keuchel. Walks have been something that have been hard to come by opponents against Dallas. He has walked 32 now in some 133 innings.
It was also only the 74th pitch for Dallas.
Brandon Moss is 1 for 2. Well, that's a welcome statistic as well to the Astros bullpen. That's ball 1. Last night, Will Porter used 4 relievers. And Tony Sipp only threw a few pitches, but Tony had worked more extensively the night before, 31 pitches. Kike Hernandez back into left center field. That's the second out.
You know, I really felt the last time we saw Dallas hit the mound, and that was in that Miami series, that he had found himself, that he was back. And he's validating those feelings, at least for me, with today's effort. Just throwing strikes, quality strikes, getting outs quickly, and getting his ground balls.
Yeah. This has been an impressive show against an Oakland club which is really the best in the American League and leads the majors in runs scored. Callaspo is 0 for 2. He's hit the ball on the ground both times. Fly ball at the right field line. Grossman over, and it's slicing back into the seats. The Astros split a 4-game series here with Oakland earlier this season. They have not won a series from the A's this year. Their all-time record against the A's is 9-28. And that is the best winning percentage that one team has over another right now in the major leagues for the all-time series. No balls, 2 strikes.
I love that changeup. Very effective.
Inside for a ball. It's 1-2.
Almost took back foot slider a little too literally right there.
Among teams that have played each other 20 more times, this Oakland record against Houston the best. Changeup got him. And that is strikeout number 3. That ends the top of the 7th inning with the score 8-1 Houston.
Welcoming back to Minute Maid Park, where it's 8-1 Astros, bottom of the 7th. As promised earlier in the game, we have the AT fan photo of the game for you, and today it's going to be Rebecca Bennett. She's back for the civil rights game on the field. Nice work there. Tweet your photos to hashtag CSNH fan photo for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast. That's brought to you by AT&T. I have some loud fans down by me, Ronnie.
Very loud and boisterous. That's the way we like it. For an Astros-A's game. They got pretty quiet in here last night in the 9th inning when the A's were rallying with their 6 runs to win it 7-4. Today a totally different story. These fans have seen the Astros with a 6-run first grab the early lead against Jason Hamill. And now it is 8-1 with former Astro Fernando Abad warming up. He'll be pitcher number 4 for Bob Melvin. Abad in 49 games is 2-4. His ERA is 1.91.
He's got some eye-popping numbers. You look at the 24 hits allowed in 42 1/3 innings. Extremely good. That equates with only 11 walks on the year to a whip down under the 1 mark at .82. So he's been highly effective.
And Abad came in the opener Monday night of this series. He worked 1 hitless inning and struck out the side in the 8th. The Astros won it 7-3. He'll be facing lefty hitting Mark Krause. Krause had an RBI in the first. He grounded into a force play. He is 0 for 3 today. Abad is from the Dominican Republic. The Astros signed him in 2002. He moved along to Washington and was traded to Oakland. Grounded foul. They strike one. Eric O'Flaherty in 1 inning allowed 1 hit, no runs. He had a walk and struck out 2. Abad was up with the Astros in 2010, 11, and 12. 28 years old. Krause fouls it. It's 0-2. Abad has pitched 4 times this year against the Astros. He lost that 12-inning game last week in Oakland on an AT HOU's game-winning homer.
That's a great moment, not only for the team. LJ personally has needed some hits and just thoroughly enjoyed that moment.
This Oakland pen with 20 wins, 14 losses, a 2.96 ERA, pretty well stocked. LJ had his moment. That was his mom's birthday. So the Astros won that big one in Oakland. Now, if they get this one today, they have a series win over the A's. That has been rare. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I hope something has been learned by the Astros pitching in this series, especially the starters, that you can go after these Oakland A's and you can put them in a hole where they don't dictate how you play a ball game.
We saw that last year with the young Astros team, another young team this year, beating a top-notch team. It's a hurdle that takes a while sometimes. That's a strikeout looking, and if they do it once, that gives them that feel that they can remember they did it. So it could be kind of a groundbreaking series to win if they can put that in that positive column in their minds.
Zobie and Brett Oberholzer was the first starter in this series, and he took it upon himself. He could have been the guy that goes out there and says, I don't know, how am I going to beat this team? But he just went right after the strike zone, put the heat on the A's hitters.
John Singleton helped to further the lead by 2 runs with his opposite field homer in the 5th inning. Inside, ball 1. So because he reached out and whacked that pitch away from him last time up, he gets the inside pitch here. The Nationals won 4-3 at Miami today to end the Marlins 6-game winning streak. Tanner Roark is the winner. He's 11-6. That's in for a strike, and it's 1-1. He beat Hand. Hand is 2-3. Drew Storen got his first save. Giancarlo Stanton hit his 24th homer. Yordan Valdespin number 2. That's a foul ball back. Let's look at Singleton's last 2 home run swings, Ash.
Well, and I mentioned that he's gone to left field a couple of times here in the series. Those are the 2 home runs that we're talking about. That was a tough pitch. And this one is all the way on, if not beyond the outside corner, up and maybe a little easier to handle. And he gets a bit more of it, but he's got so much power. He could utilize that Crawford box area so well. Now, if he starts handling that pitch away, driving it to left, and teams then start working in, then that quick bat can start driving it. John Maley, no doubt, preaching all of those points to John.
John was out for early hitting a couple of days ago. Ground ball to shortstop. Lowry to his right. 2 outs. It'll be Matt Dominguez coming up.
At times it feels like you start relying on, right now, the injured George Springer. But in terms of the offensive side of things, you can say, well, it's kind of on the shoulders of George Springer. But Chris Carter, as you talked about, has been swinging the bat so well the whole month of July. John Singleton getting it together. Matt Dominguez the same. These are guys that can turn this offense around in a big positive way.
Dominguez singled in a run in the first. He's 1 for 3. And the right fielder comes over for this one, Reddick. to end a quick 7th inning for Abad and send this game to the 8th with the score 8-1 Astros.
Astros. We talked about the tough loss for the Astros last night. How the A's scoring 6 runs, in the top of the 9th. Well, here's the Geico quote of the day. Bob Bellman talking about that comeback for a late inning at bat. That's as good as I've ever seen in a team. The 27th out. We don't give that away. It's an attribute. That's the way this team is. And the Astros know that. They talked about that last night. No surprise if the A's can come back like that on you. And Chad Qualls just taking the loss in that tough one, giving up those runs, and one of the tougher losses that they've had this season. Bo didn't have much to say other than that the job just didn't get done, but his teammates were quick to defend Chad Qualls, saying no confidence was lost, and they hope that if there's a save opportunity even as soon as today, that Chad Qualls will be the guy running out there.
Thanks, Julia. Dallas Keuchel versus Josh Reddick, inning number 8 underway. With strike 1 on Reddick. Reddick is 0 for 2. He hit a low liner speared by Keuchel back in the 5th inning.
Chad Qualls has been great. One day doesn't make a guy a bum any more than one day makes a guy a star. And Chad's got a track record beyond this year, but for the club he has been very solid in that role.
Yeah, he took responsibility for it. Bo Porter, so the Oakland A's did a tremendous job of hitting. Fly ball out into shallow left center field for Gregorio Petit. And the Astros very quickly have moved on from that. 18th win for the A's in their last at bat. That's tied for first in the majors. Their 11th win when they trailed after 7. That's the most in the majors. And the 6th time they won when they've been down after 8. That's the most in the majors. Just great clutch hitting by the A's last night. Nick Punto is 0 for 2, 2 groundouts. They were not giving up outs in that 9th inning.
Well, that's nice work. Dallas has, since giving up that home run in the 2nd inning, just continued to pitch as if it was a 1-run ball game. Changing speeds. He's had the A's hitters off balance all afternoon.
1-1. Well, the A's were 15-4 against the Astros last year. So they definitely have had Houston's number. Check swing call, and it goes to 2-1. So if the Astros can take 2 out of 3 here from Oakland, it could be something that is meaningful to these players, that hey, they are improving, they are able to compete better than they were a year ago against the top teams. 3 balls, 1 strike.
Well, you also put it in the head of the Oakland A's. They know they're in for a ball game when they face Houston.
Yeah, there's that angle to it also. That's a 1-out walk. Punto's aboard. The third walk for Dallas Keuchel. Billy Burns bats. Billy 0 for 3 in this game, 0 for 4 in the big leagues.
Matt Dominguez is playing back at third base. I would be concerned about Billy Burns maybe trying to get an inning going by dropping down a bunt.
Come on, Dallas.
Burns takes a look at ball one. Yeah. His game is the speed game. Ground ball to shortstop Petit. Crossing Altuve firing. No double play.
No, Burns makes it not even close. I don't think with his size he's going to be challenging for one of the running back berths for the Jets, but he does get down that line. Hey, you can see how quickly he gets out of the box. You can turn that as rapidly as you possibly can as an infield no shot.
Now Jed Lowry, and there's ball one to Jed. He is 1 for 3, a double in the 6th inning. Fouls that one away, and it's a 1-ball 1-strike count. Well, the Astros opened the season here, winning a series from the Yankees. They've won a couple of series from the Rangers. They won a series from Detroit here. The Angels among their series victories this year. So they've beaten some of the good clubs. With that Detroit team really at times rolling, and then at other times slumping this year. The Angels have been a very good club this year. The Angels have the second best winning percentage in the majors. And they're only 2.5 behind Oakland. They dropped one game further back last night by losing when Oakland won. Grossman over to watch this one go out of play. And it's 1-2. Astros shooting for win number 44 of the season. And through 107 games last year, they were 36-71. They're 7 games better than they were a year ago. But they didn't win their 43rd game last year until August 24th. Lowry's down on strikes. That ends the 8th for Oakland. No runs, no hits, and a man left. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It's 8-1 Astros.
The 8th, we decided to ask y'all on Twitter, who's the most improved Astro from last year to this year? Casey Red 196 tweets, Dallas Keuchel for sure. He had an ERA of over 5.00 last year. Now it's just above 3.00. The beard is dealing. Nathan 0223 tweets, has to be Josh Fields. He's finally harnessed his closer-like stuff and is becoming one of the Astros' top relievers. Thank you very much for tweeting me at HoChan CSN. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Howard. The Astros lead at 8-1 here. They go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Pitcher number 5 will be out there for Bob Melvin's A's. Luke Gregerson taking over. Fernando Abad had a 1-2-3 7th with the strikeout. Gregerson in 49 games is 2-1. His ERA is 1.97 and 10 walks, 41 hits allowed in 50 innings. Has a whip of 1.01.
That bullpen for the A's just keeps running out some very impressive numbers. That ERA rather stout. Yeah, they just don't give it up much.
They do not. He has not given up a run since June 25th. 10 outings since then.
I'm sure he's got in his mind get that whip under the 1 mark, but very impressive where he is right now.
You know, that had to be in his thinking when he got out of bed this morning. Boy, I've got to get that whip.
Oh, I'll bet he dreamt about it last night.
Below 1. Matt Dominguez has gone 1 for 4. He made the last out last inning. Now here's Carlos Corcoran. He's 1 for 3 with an RBI.
Takes some ham and eggs with my .9.
Yeah. Figure this one out. The Padres have designated Jason Lane for assignment.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, after he pitched that fine game, he's been designated.
Well, I guess that'll teach Jason to go out there and have that kind of performance.
Boy,
that's really a shame.
Rough. Well, was it 6 innings, 1 run, something like that?
What just happened with Carlos on that swing?
Don't know. He stepped away. Don't know what happened.
Massive time consumption following that swing.
1 ball, 1 strike. Is the whip percentage. Gregerson at 26.2. Liriano number 1. Jose Fernandez hurt, didn't pitch a whole lot before that injury. Zach Britton, who's become the Baltimore closer, is up there high. Breaking pitch comes in and it's 2-1. Arizona won at Cincinnati 5-4. Wade Miley going to 7-7 with a victory over Alfredo Simon. Simon pitched well, giving up 2 runs in 7 innings. The save went to Reed. That was his 26th for Addison Reed. 3 balls and a strike. Paul Goldschmidt hit his 19th homer. Didi Gregorius number 4. For the Reds, Devin Mesoraco number 18. And the Reds just well, they got 4 runs today, but they had averaged about 2 runs per game for the previous 11 games. They've just been in a terrible hitting slump.
Well, there goes those whip dreams.
Yeah, that's not what he had in mind. Leadoff walk. Jose Altuve and Chris Carter finish off their spectacular July tomorrow night when Jose Bautista and the surging Toronto Blue Jays visit for 4 games. Pre-game live starts at 6:30 only on Comcast Sportsnet.
And now look at tomorrow's pitching matchup, fueled by Chevron. Care for your car. Drew Hutchison, young right-hander, goes 7-9, 4.44. That consistent ERA against Jared Cozart, trying to win number 10 on the year. And the ERA is quite similar for the 2 guys.
Strike to Robbie Grossman, who ripped a 2-run homer in the 1st inning. He walked in the 6th. Grossman was not in the original starting lineup. He was added to the lineup when Chris Carter had to be scratched when he was ill. So Robbie is capitalized on his spot start. Looks at that one for a ball and 1-1. So the Blue Jays are coming in. As you mentioned, it's Cozart and Hutchison tomorrow night.
Suppose they're in flight?
Well, they're in flight. Let's see, they'll be in flight. They have a night game, don't they?
Oh, that's right.
So they'll be in flight after that game. And coming in here to play the 4-game series 2 balls and a strike. But now Cozart is like Keuchel. He's 9-7. So he could win his 10th the day after Keuchel wins his 10th.
Well, have a nice little challenge match for the rest of the year.
Yeah, that would be a good little contest to have them reeling off wins.
Well, I've absolutely loved what we've seen from Dallas Keuchel today, but the last couple of days were terrific again from the starting pitching. So now you start to team up on that starting pitching side, get some quality from the pen, and have the bats swinging the way they are today. And you can start being that club that the Astros put up there for what, 4 or 5 weeks earlier in the year. Played very good baseball.
Yes. You know, come to think of it, Keuchel has been the stopper as far as winning after the Astros had losing streaks when he went to the mound. Earlier this year, he snapped a 5-game losing streak when he won at Detroit. He had snapped a 3-game losing streak when he won at Toronto. He snapped a 7-game club losing streak when he won at Seattle.
It's kind of being the guy.
That's ball 4, and back-to-back walks from Gregerson have the Astros threatening with Petit the batter.
I think we laid it on him with those talks of the whip getting under 1.
The old whip jinx. Petit singled in the first inning. He's 1 for 3. In that Blue Jay Astros series, Cozart and Hutchison tomorrow night at 7:10. McHugh and Happ Friday night at 7:10. Happ, the former Astro, 8-5. Saturday at 6:10, Oberholzer and R.A. Dickey. Sunday at 1:10, Feldman and Stroman. Sounds like a law firm.
Yeah, but at least Feldman got the top billing.
Yes, he did.
Nice job.
Strike to Petit. Stroman comes in with a 7-2 record, a 3.03 ERA. Good-looking young right-hander.
Well, he's no doubt making a difference in that push right now for the mighty Toronto Blue Jays.
He is. Not sure how many billable hours he has, but from that law firm, but nonetheless, he's got a heck of a season on the mound. No balls, 2 strikes.
Used to love that show. William Shatner.
Yeah.
James Fader. Boston Legal, I think it was.
Boston Legal, that's right. That's not on anymore?
No. Come on, Ronnie.
Thought that was the story of the Red Sox agents.
Uncancelable.
Okay.
Red Sox agents.
Yeah. 1 ball and 2 strikes. There could be some legal documents drawn up here in the next 24 hours with that trade deadline looming. You expecting a lot of action?
No, I don't. Although, you know, what was it, 2-3 years ago when the Red Sox and Dodgers hooked up for that blockbuster.
Yeah.
How many players were involved? But I want to say like 9 players in that deal.
Yeah, I think at least 9. Strikeout, 1 out. Yeah, there was some Boston legal going on that transaction.
There was.
The Carl Crawford and Josh Beckett deal. A lot of big name players exchanging uniforms on that one.
Adrian Gonzalez.
Yeah. Jose Altuve is 1 for 3 with a walk. He'll take a 12-game hitting streak up against the Blue Jays tomorrow night.
Now, what do you think? You see some deals brewing right now?
A few, maybe. You know, there are going to be some relievers involved in deals. Contending teams almost always seem to be looking for bullpen help, although Oakland would not seem to be in need of any.
You've talked about the second base position for the A's, but boy, when you've got a team playing as well as they've played this year,
right,
it's hard to make changes on that club.
It is. It's a very good club now. They would not seem to be in need of offense at second base. Deep drive to right field toward the corner. Reddick backing. Reddick with the catch. Gets it back in, 2 outs.
MLB.tv Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is celebrating 12 years. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices. Visit Astros.com for your details.
Well, it's a good place, especially with the races right now and trade speculation. Keep yourself up on things. Kike Hernandez is 1 for 4.
Are the Tigers the only lock to get into the postseason right now?
Well, I don't think so. I would say Oakland is a lock.
Well, I guess they are. That's right. What am I doing overlooking these guys?
Well, you're just thinking around baseball.
Okay,
all around baseball.
What I should have said was only lock to win their division.
Okay. Now that puts a different spin on it. They have a 5-game lead on Kansas City. Detroit currently has lost 4 in a row, though. But that's the biggest lead any team has in a division. But the Angels have a big lead in the wild card. 1-1. Let's see, Ash. We don't have wild card standings yet, do we?
No, not on the standard sheet that comes out.
No, I think it's August 1st is when they start printing that on the materials they give out in the press box every day. But I think the Angels have a lead of about 6.5 over the second wild card.
Well, let's clear that up for us.
Okay. Well, there you have it. Well, you want online, of course.
Oh no, this is I drew this up before the ball game.
You're an online guy. Okay, they have a 6.5 game lead. They are the top wild card team in the American League as of now.
Yeah, without question. And then you've got 2 division leaders. Toronto Blue Jays would be the next wild card right now.
Well, they've got some ground to make up there. And Toronto is 2.5 behind Baltimore. Toronto's won 4 in a row. So both these teams coming into Minute Maid Park this week in playoff position right now.
Yeah. No, it's there's a lot of motivation. And you know the Jays aren't trying to think in that direction. They want to win that division. So, you've had the A's come in, even preceded by Miami, who played great baseball, and then they're playing low. But the A's coming in, they've made it, I think, their position to simply beat everybody they go up against. And now the Blue Jays come in. They've got a lot on their plate. I think it's a big 4-game series for the Astros.
Yeah. The Blue Jays.
Yeah, no doubt.
And it's their only visit this year. And you get the Yankees, as you saw. Seattle. Those teams could be dealing here in the next 24 hours. Good stop there out of the dirt by Norris. And it's 3-2 to Kike Hernandez. On the next one, the runners will move.
This has not been the sharpest of innings for Gregerson.
No. Now the Cubs had the payoff from the Darwin Barney deal with the Dodgers. They got a right-handed pitcher, Martinez, in that trade. Evan Scribner warming up for Oakland. Ground ball foul. The A's have Cespedes, Donaldson, and Norris due up in the 9th.
In an 8-1 ball game, I'm a little surprised that Bob Melvin would have somebody loosening in the pen right now. Kind of leave this one for Gregerson to finish up. But I'm not managing the leading team in baseball.
It's tough being Bob Melvin.
Tough being #1, huh?
Yeah. Everybody's shooting for you. Bouncer and third baseman Cayaspo gets it over to first. To end the 8th inning with no runs, no hits, a couple of men left. We move to the 9th. It's 8-1 Houston. Net is presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. We've got a breaking story here in Houston, Texas.
What you got breaking?
Well, Julia has been following Twitter. A lot of stories break there that aren't stories, but they're reporting. Joel Sherman of the New York Post, evidently, is reporting on Twitter that the Seattle Mariners have interest in Chris Carter.
That's a story. You know, Julia's not going to jump on one that's just some kind of made up little.
No, she wouldn't do that.
Julia, nice going. Wow.
And then apparently Evan Drellich of the Houston Chronicle says there's nothing to that. Yoenis Cespedes is 0 for 3. The A's come up here in the 9th inning. Chris Carter was in the original lineup, and we were told that he was sick today and was scratched from that lineup. I didn't talk to Chris. There's a ball inside. But some people who did said he looked fine to them.
Where's Bob Woodward when we need it?
Well, he's working on his next book. He's probably in Russia right now.
There's a story going on there?
Not really.
Oh, dear.
Unless you believe satellite imaging. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I tend to concur with that.
So, you know, this time of year is a lot of intrigue, right?
Oh, boy, I guess.
Somebody wakes up with a hangnail and all of a sudden there's a trade room.
Well, if you're not in the lineup, all of a sudden there's a story. So we'll see how that plays out. That's intriguing.
It makes sense if a team is trying to trade somebody not to play, which was the case with Lester.
Oh, they just wanted to make sure not to put Lester in there on a day when there have been rumors out there that might have been a little tough mentally for him to deal. Oh, come on.
And there are all these little things flying around, like Lester had a chat during batting practice with his manager, John Farrell, and said candlesticks make a nice gift. He struck him out.
Candlesticks make a nice gift.
So the Giants are trying, you know, all this stuff. There's Dallas Keuchel's day.
Well, Dallas has he's just been ahead of the hitters. Gave up an early home run, but it's just been a beautiful performance to watch. He's even played a little D himself. He's challenged hitters in on the hands, had that changeup working. Gorgeous day for Dallas Keuchel. And nice to see him rewarded with the chance to go all the way.
Strike to Josh Donaldson. Well, he has gone all the way 3 times this season. One of those a complete game shutout for Dallas Keuchel. A 4th complete game would be quite something. Foul back. This is his 20th start. That's a pretty good ratio.
Well, and it could have been better. I continue to think back to that. What could have been a complete game shutout in Anaheim. Mike Trout beats out a ground ball to second base. And it wound up being the bullpen came in and gave up a couple of runs. Yeah, I mean, it could have even been better for Dallas. And he could have gotten that pitch to be called a strike. That little smile says, really?
He is tied for the league lead in complete games. Masahiro Tanaka of the Yankees with 3. In the air off the bat of Donaldson.
I just never understood when I caught why the inside corner was so tough for umpires to call.
Yeah.
Pitch could be whole ball on the wide of the plate. And allegedly the umpires put their nose right on the corner and look at it, and it's just a tough spot to get.
Keuchel has all 3 of Houston's complete games pitched this year. Now it's Norris. Norris is 0 for 2 with a walk. So on the verge of win number 10 and complete game number 4, Dallas Keuchel has allowed 3 hits to the Oakland A's.
And in the process, I don't want to cause a problem here for Dallas, but the ERA has just slipped under the 3 mark for Dallas. No jinxing going on.
No.
All fingers are crossed, toes same.
Well, the bullpen has not even warmed up today for the Astros. One ball, 1 strike. He's at 106 pitches. Trying for his first win since he beat Yu Darvish at Texas July 9th. Last win at home for Dallas was June 11th when he beat Arizona, but he's only started twice since then at home. 2-1.
Gotta keep his wrist from ever getting sore again.
Boy. Yeah, that was the one that derailed him a little bit. He skipped a start with that inflammation in June. Line shot to left field. Kraus leaping. It's off the wall. Kicks back toward the infield. Kike Hernandez will come over to play it. And it's an easy double for Norris. Kraus went as far back as he could go. Went up in the air, but Norris got his 13th double.
Okay, I'm starting to squirm after making comments, but trust in Keuchel.
Hit number 4 for Oakland.
And this ball was hit plenty hard enough to get out of here, but trajectory was going to keep it in the ballpark. Kike didn't make an initial breakover on this play, but I don't think even if he had, he could have prevented the two-bagger.
Now Paul Clemens gets up for the Astros. Brandon Moss taking strike 1. Moss is 1 for 3. Holding the Oakland A's to 4 hits. That's quite an achievement. That's in for a strike. Good breaking pitch. Makes it 0-2 on Brandon Moss. Keuchel trying for his first career win against Oakland.
2 breaking balls. What do you come back with after getting ahead 0-2? Shakes off a couple, so didn't see what he liked.
Ground ball to first. Singleton with the final out. What a rebound win for the Astros. After getting decked last night with a 6-run Oakland ninth, losing 7-4. They get 6 in the first today. Keuchel gets his 10th win, his 4th complete game to take over the lead in the American League. And the Astros win it 8-1, win the series 2-1. 8-1 the final.